going on, Jerome's? Your Minnesota Vikings had a light day of work, no full practice, no fans at TCO before the fabled night practice, first of two tomorrow evening, but they did have a walkthrough, and we were trying to decide what pun we wanted to use. Christopher walk through the line, respect walk. You talking to me? Luke Skywalker? I don't know. But at the end of the day, they're all stupid. As they generally are. But a couple of headlines. First up, Kevin Seifert from ESPN, who is not Carl Gerbschmidt. Kirk Cousins. So Kirk had a presser, and he addressed the 66 thing. So Kirk wore number 66 yesterday in practice, an inside joke with punter Ryan Wright, but he said today it will probably be the first and last time, looked at himself on film and didn't realize how big it would make him look. Egregious, he said. So again, Kirk saying that it was about Ryan Wright. Sure. And if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Just go ahead and believe him, sheeple. Bah. But the whole Dalton Risner wears number 66, and Dalton Risner was in the building that day for a visit. Sure. Kirk was like, hey, today is a wonderful day to pay tribute to the punter's UDFA number from last training camp. Yeah, sure. I continued. Our guy, Matt Anderson. A lot of Matt Anderson. Go give him a follow. He's very tall. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins on how a young or new receiver can earn his trust early on. Quote, I want to see greatness at the catch point. Ooh, greatness at the catch point is also my favorite James Bond movie. Dun, dun, dun. Timothy Dalton. Goes on to praise Jefferson, Osborne, Hockenson, and Thielen. Then says rookie wide receiver Jordan Addison has displayed this trait early in training camp. And that's something that stands out too, whether watching him at Pitt or USC, even though, I mean, he's smallish, sort of lightish, 6 foot, $170 some. He does fight at the catch point. Well, that's the thing too. Like receivers, you have to come back to the football. Like the highlight of JJ on the sideline against Murphy, where Randy Moss said it was clinical coach's tape, where he came back to the football. Because if you just sit there and wait for the football, DBs in this league are too fast, too athletic, man. They will go get it. So going up and getting the football, going towards your quarterback as well. That's something that Addison has done throughout his career. That's something that you're seeing him do and these various training camp highlights already. So that's a very good sign. And then Anderson again. Kirk Cousins gives us a glimpse at what new defense coordinator Brian Flores' defense is like to go against in training camp. Mentions these three things. Number one, throwing off the timing of receivers. That's the benefit of having your cornerbacks press. Tons of pressure and different disguises. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Plus, the night practice is basically an extended, quasi scrimmage, and Brian Flores is going to want to flex and show off, man. And here's the thing too. Generally, teams, especially defenses, they'll install the base, the vanilla packages in training camp as well as in preseason because you don't want to tip your hand for the regular season. And the fact that Flores is bringing so much heat, he's showing so many looks, it's so exotic and erotic and neurotic, and he's just bringing it. And this is the basic package of the new defense. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. And again, they may not be a shutdown defense, but they'll be opportunistic and they'll get after that ass. And I've said before, I think the dynamic is going to be like the 2006 Colts, where the offense is going to put up points, the defense will be able to play downhill with a double-digit lead and just get after the opposing quarterback's ass. And that's what they did with Freeney and Mathis, man. Kramer, Strib. A good sign that Alexander Madison is participating in Vikings walkthrough this afternoon after sitting out the end of Tuesday's padded practice. Madison had said he was undergoing further evaluation last night. Madison had a pretty pronounced limp at the end of yesterday's padded practice, but a good sign that he's out there in walkthroughs. Kevin Seifert, who's not Carl Gerbschmidt, because today's practice was at walkthrough speed. Both Brian O'Neill and Danielle Hunter were able to get first-team reps. Brian O'Neill working back from that torn Achilles. Yesterday, he was in pads off to the side. Danielle Hunter has been doing individual work, but hasn't been in full team drills. I'm sure they're just bringing him along slowly since he wasn't at OTA as a mandatory minicamp, and also the first week of training camp. Alexander Madison was back on the field after dropping out yesterday. Didn't see Marcus Davenport, Andrew Booth Jr., or Jalen Naylor. Now, Naylor has been out since last Wednesday. Booth Jr. left yesterday with an injury. Marcus Davenport yesterday was there, but he didn't participate in team drills. So, who knows? Also, King Kene Nwangu was back at the walkthrough, which is good. Then getting to the third phase, when asked about Josh Metellus' availability for special teams, considering that he's going to be a larger part of the defense, Coach Hat said this, quote, Metellus is built for it. He'll do an unbelievable job with that. Talk about him on defense, but he also said that he expected to have Metellus for the same amount of snaps. And, frankly, Josh Metellus is an absolute stud on special teams, blocking back-to-back punts. He was a special teams captain last year. He's a true leader. He's in on basically every unit except for field goal. So it's a guy that is very valuable to have on the third phase. Also, standouts, Ekstrom. Matt Daniels shouts out William Kwenku, the UDFA linebacker out of Temple last year. Ivan Pace Jr., this year's UDFA linebacker out of Cincy. And Lucky Jackson, he is for real, the pride of the XFL as early special team standouts. Western Kentucky, Hilltopper, Lucky Jackson. Let's go, man. Then Matt Anderson. Work keeps Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell up at night, just like the rest of us. Quote, I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about a formation or a play. Sometimes I'll grab my phone and shoot myself an email so I don't forget. And hopefully the formation isn't an empty shotgun on 4th and inches. Hopefully we don't do that this year. But that's sort of the same with me. I'm sure that a lot of people can relate. And also, like, I don't like use the note app on the phone, or I don't like write down notes because I never look at them. I always look at my email. So I will, like, if I have just a random thought, I will shoot myself an email, whether it's something to do with work or someone's like, hey, compare Kirk to a Subway sandwich video. Send. From Andy. It's funny, man. And then Gessling Strib. Offense coordinator Wes Phillips said Tristan Jackson avoided any ligament damage to his knee after his injury yesterday. Jackson was carted off. Jackson did update that he was going to have a speedy recovery last night on Instagram. Good news for the Vikings after Jackson was carted off. And yeah, Tristan Jackson was fighting for a roster spot, still is. And maybe it's a spot where he starts the season on injured reserve, but maybe he returns later on. Don't really know. But either way, like, he deserves to be in the thick of things, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery and is back very soon. And then finally, Alec Lucy Athletic. Wes Phillips spoke highly today about the team's guards. I feel great about the way Ezra Cleveland and Ed Ingram have progressed from last year. We're happy with the interior. Of course, he's kind of got to say that, especially since the Vikings were flirting with top free agent guard Dalton Reisner. He left without a contract. And of course, if you bring in a guy like Reisner, I mean, sure, you could say it's about competition and improving an already good unit, but you're not bringing in Dalton Reisner, especially for decent money, to be a backup. You ain't doing that. So I understand Wes Phillips. Maybe it's true. Maybe he is towing the company line a little bit, and maybe he's just sort of hedging his bets here. But I do think that Ed Ingram got better as the year went along. Ezra Cleveland is good in run blocking, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, man. But that's it. That's thoughts from Vikings Wednesday walkthrough. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.